Geronimo Stilton, Heromice, the Invisible Thief. It was a fabulous sunny day in New Mouse City, the perfect day to stretch my paws in the park. Besides enjoying the great weather and getting some exercise, I couldn't wait to grab an ice cream from my favorite park vendor, the Cheesy Freeze. Have you been there? The freeze makes things the most wicked-looking good treats. But what a scatterbrain I am. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Stilton, Geronimo Stilton, and I am the editor-in-chief of the Rodent Gazettes, the most famous newspaper on Mouse Island. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, when I reached the park, I ordered my ice cream, but before I could take one nibble, ring! My cell phone rang. Rats! I hope whoever was calling would already make it quick. My ice cream was already melting. Hello, hello, hello! Are you there, Geronimo? It was Hercule Poirot, my good friend and Heromouse partner. Hercule, is everything okay? I asked. Far from it, Hercule squeaked. I need you in Muskrat City immediately. It's an emergency. Emergency? Well, my ice cream, I stammered. Hercule interrupted me. I'll explain everything when you get here, Geronimo. Just hurry up. I tried to protest, but all I heard was a dial tone. What could I do? Hercule needed my help. Wiping away a tear, I stared longingly at my super delicious ice cream. So long, Cheddar Chip, I sighed. Then I looked for a place to transform into Super Stilton. I ducked behind the ice cream cart. This would be the perfect place. Then I pushed the secret button on my super pen. Immediately, a green ray of light enveloped me from my whiskers to my tail, transforming me into Super Stilton. Too bad I forgot two tiny details. I had used the super pen a little too close to the ice cream cart, and I still had my ice cream cone in my paw. So right as I lifted into the air, I became tangled in the cart awning. I tore the awning right off the cart, carrying it away with me. Oh, why did I always feel like a super dunce when it came to using my super pen? By the time I was able to get the awning off my snout, I came to see Muskrat City below with me. With the cloth wrapped around my super suit, I landed in the garden of Heromice headquarters. Super Swiss slices, Paws cried when he saw me. What is that, Super Stilton? A new super cape? A super dress? A super toga? I coughed, pretending I didn't notice. I was wrapped up in a little fairy super sausage. Everything's under control, I muttered, freeing myself and changing the subject. So why don't you explain what's going on? Why did you call me? What's the emergency? Hold up, super partner, Paws squeaked. I don't know anything. Wait, what? Had I just given up for a triple-decker cheesy freeze cone for nothing? Luckily, Commissioner Rex Ratford had just arrived. We have a very special case on our paws. A case I'm hoping you Heromice can help you solve. Right then, my hero watch activated, and Tess Technopaws, the super smart scientist, appeared on the screen. Welcome, Super Stilton, she said to me. Please come to the control room. I can explain everything. A moment later, Swiftpaws Commissioner Ratford and I gathered together at the Heromice secret base. Proton and Electron, the youngest members of the group, were looking in front of the supercomputer. Hi, Super Stilton, squeaked. Proton and Electron gave me a curious look. How was your trip? She asked, staring at my super suit. It was then that I realized I had a sticky ice cream and a squash cone stuck to my super suit. Well, you see, the ice cream, the awning, the super pen. I tried to explain. We don't need the play-by-play, Swiftpaws said, cutting me short. Now, can you tell me what happened? Commissioner, the head of police nodded. I want you to take a look at the film from the security cameras of a few jewelers in the city. It seems that they have burgled by a very special thief called the Respectful Rubber Mouse. Why respectful? I asked. It's the name they gave him on the TV, explained Proton. The Respectful Rubber Mouse always leaves a letter of apology at the scene of the crime, added Electron. Take a look at this, said Ratford, showing us a note written by Paul. Dear Commissioner, so sorry to steal and run, but I really need this diamonds. I hope you will forgive me. Please tell the owners of the jewelry store I will return the gems as soon as possible. Sorry, by respectful or by an honorable rodent. It's very polite, I said. It's very fishy if you ask me, snorted Bradford. I've never met a thief who brings back the loot. That's true, I agreed. But I still don't understand why you called Commissioner. Why do you say this is the case for the Heromice? At this, Bradford passed a flash drive to Proton, who inserted it into the supercomputer. Immediately, it showed the film from the security camera as squeaky blings. The most expensive and elegant jewelry store in Muskrat City. After hours, the store was closed. There was no one in sight. In the image, you can see a diamond sheltered by a glass dome. Watch carefully, Bradford whispered. The door of the store swung open, as if it had been thrown open by a gust of wind. The alarm began to ring, and the glass dome lifted. Click! The diamond rose into the air and floated out of the door of the jewelry store. Whoosh! Holy cheese sticks! Swiftpaws and I gawked at the computer screen. Now do you understand why I need you? Commissioner Bradford asked, a super worried expression on his snout. We are being played by an invisible thief. A shiver ran down my spine. But what if it's a special effect, Commissioner? Asked Electron. What if it's a practical joke? Added Proton. What if it's a ghost? I stammered, my whiskers trembling with fear. My tech mice have already checked out everything, and they can't figure it out. The Commissioner continued. We need you, Heromice, twisted cattails. How are we supposed to stop an invisible thief? We could watch all the jewelry stores in the city by using a video link, Proton suggested. That way, when the thief strikes again, there isn't time, interrupted Commissioner Bradford. Duchess Marilyn Moscovia arrives today. Who? Swiftpaws asked. The Commissioner explained that the Duchess Moscovia is a rich and famous rodent who is friends with Pete Powerpaws, the mayor of Muskrat City. There was going to be a fancy reception in her honor at Muskrat City's Grand Hotel. The Duchess will be wearing the star-studded gemstones tonight, the Commissioner added. It's a really enormous, priceless diamond. What an irresistible lure for the invisible thief, Electron asked. Blistering blue cheese, exclaimed Swiftpaws. Let's shake a paw and get down to the Grand Hotel ASAP. We'll set a trap so when the thief arrives, he won't know what hit him. Are you sure we need to go right now, Swiftpaws? I stammered. Oh, what I would give for a little downtime, a nice cheesy snack, a shower, or maybe a quick rat nap. Swiftpaws' squeak interrupted my thoughts. Of course, he insisted. Remember, partner, criminals never stop, and neither do the Heromice. Before I could protest, Swiftpaws launched into flight, dragging me with him. Our destination, Muskrat City's Grand Hotel. A few minutes later, we arrived in the hotel ballroom. The place was bustling with activity. While the orchestra warmed up, the waiters scampered around, setting up a delicious-looking buffet. I saw cheese sandwiches, bowls of cheesy pasta, and 5 fountains of cheesy fondue. My stomach began to growl. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. I started drooling, then settled it. I needed a super snack, and I needed it super fast. I edged closer to the fondue fountain. Unfortunately, before I could sneak one nibble, the others arrived. Proton began mounting a super sophisticated alarm in the hallway, while Swiftpaws, Commissioner Bradford, and I studied a map of the building. We need to check all the entrances, every window and every door, yelled Swiftpaws, running up and down the room. Suddenly, an impeccable dressed rodent showed up to us. Gentlemen, can you please try not to be so loud and disruptive, he implored, looking around nervously. It was Snobby LeFleur, the manager of the Grand Hotel. Remember that our guests are part of Muskrat City's highest society, he added. They expect only the best. Suddenly, a mouse swept into the room. She was wearing a gigantic diamond around her neck. It was the famous star-studded gemstone. She was the Duchess Marilyn Moscovia. The Duchess glared at us. Who are these rodents with the ratty capes? He asked LeFleur. They are part of the security team here at the Grand Hotel, stuttered LeFleur. But I assure you that there won't be any bother to you or any of your guests. I hope not, Lipper, the Duchess squeaked. I shot a look at Swiftpaws. Don't worry, hero partner, he whispered. I've got the thing to spruce us up. At 6 in the evening, the party began. All of Muskrat City's most important rodents gathered in the ballroom. Everyone was dressed in elegant formal wear. Well, everyone except for Swiftpaws and me. We wore our usual super suits along with enormous bow ties. Now, instead of looking like super mice, we look like super clowns. Nice, huh? Said Swiftpaws, tweaking his bow tightly. Did I mention my hero partner make no sense at all? I glanced around the room. Not far from us, I spotted the mayor chatting away with Marilyn Muscovia. I inched closer, deciding to keep my eye on the Duchess at all times. Who knew when the invisible thief might strike? Suddenly, a voice broke into my thoughts. Super Stilton, how wonderful to see you. I turned and felt my heart thump excitedly. It was Priscilla Barr, the most famous lawyer in Muskrat City. She was with her father, Prosecutor Barr. Priscilla was wearing a sparkling blue-green gown, and the same shade as her eyes. Besides being brilliant, Priscilla had a good heart, and is truly a beautiful mouse. Immediately, I turned as red as my super cape. You are wonderful. I'm wonderful. It's wonderful to see you, I babbled. Oh, why am I such a mess around smart, attractive female mice? I was telling Priscilla about our special mission when Swiftpaws ran over. There you are, hero partner, Swiftpaws exclaimed. Then he noticed Priscilla. He grinned so widely, I thought his jaw would crack. May I have the honor of this dance, Miss Barr? He asked before bowing her. But what about guarding the star-studded gemstone? I whispered to my partner. Relax, Swiftpaws reassured me. Everything is under control. I frowned. Forget about guarding the gemstone. My hero partner had just stolen the mouse of my dreams, right out from under my whiskers. Rats! I decided to distract myself by throwing myself into my work. I went off to look for the Duchess. When I found her, I bowed and asked her if she would like to dance. Do I know you? She asked, staring down her nose at me. Mayor Powerpaws was standing close by. Dear Marilyn, he said, this is Super Stilton, one of the excellent defenders of Muskrat City. Oh yes, a hero mouse, the Duchess snorted. Now I recognize that terribly dreadful costume. Don't you have anything else to change into? Those boots are hideous, and the bow tie is ridiculous, I sighed. And I think I could have been dancing with the sweet and beautiful Priscilla Barr. I was just mumbling my apologies when suddenly I turned as pale as a slice of mozzarella. The super diamond that the Duchess had been wearing around her neck had disappeared. When I looked around, I couldn't believe my eyes. The star-studded gemstone was floating right over the table of refreshments. The invisible thief had struck again. The Duchess let out a tremendous scream. No! My diamond! Then she fainted, falling into my arms. Hey, invisible thief, stop! Yelled Commissioner Ratford. Give back the diamond. I'm sorry, but I can't, responded a nice voice that came from the area near the floating diamond. Swiftpaws and I looked at each other, dumbfounded. After the initial shock of seeing a floating diamond, Swiftpaws sprang into action. Get ready, invisible thief, he squeaked, holding out his paws. Costume. Supernet mode. Immediately, my super partner turned into an enormous butterfly net. He raced after the flying gemstone. Unfortunately, he wasn't watching where he was going, and a minute later, bam! Swiftpaws ran smack into one of the streaming fountains of fondue. The first fountain fell into the second, which fell into the third. Well, you get the picture. It was one giant cheesy mess. Guests began slipping on the melted cheese that now covered the floor. The invisible thief took advantage of the chaos and fled with the diamond and the invisible paws. Oh no, shrieked Ratford. I noticed a cheesy trail and tracks that started from the table and went towards the staircase. There wasn't a moment to lose, so like a hero mouse, I scampered after the thief, following his mysterious tracks. I arrived on the top floor of the Grand Hotel and followed the tracks down a long hallway, but soon the tracks became lighter, and then they disappeared altogether. I stopped and looked around, but I had no idea where the invisible thief had gone. I continued to hear the sound of footsteps, but I couldn't figure out where they were coming from. Soaking Swiss cheese milkshakes, I cried, in exasperation. With those words, those cheesy superpowers activated. Whoosh! A strong stream of gloopy, cheesy milkshake shot down the hallway, and thanks to the stream of liquid cheese, the invisible thief immediately became visible. "Stop, thief!" I yelled, but this agile rodent zipped through a door at the top of the stairs. I followed him up the stairs until I found myself on the rooftop of the Grand Hotel. Don't look down, I thought, but I was already feeling very dizzy. Holy cheese sticks! I'm afraid of heights. Surrender, I shrieked. Nothing happened. Then I thought I saw something peeking out from behind the chimney. I crept closer until, "Super Stilton, it's me!" a voice cried. It was the smart, beautiful, and brave Lady Wonderwhiskers. Now I was really dizzy. "Lady Wonderwhiskers!" I exclaimed. "What are you doing here?" Before I knew it, I was staring into Lady Wonderwhiskers' brilliant, beautiful blue eyes as I was entranced. What strength, what charm, what a mouse! "Is everything okay, Super Stilton?" Lady Wonderwhiskers asked. "No, yes, I babbled. I was interrupted by a very loud splash. "It's the invisible thief!" exclaimed Lady Wonderwhiskers, pointing at the rooftop swimming pool. A minute later, we saw a trail of puddles. "What is he doing?" I asked, confused. "It looks like he's heading for the fire escape ladder," exclaimed Lady Wonderwhiskers. "Please do something, Super Stilton." Super Swiss slices! I could not disappoint the super rodent of my heart. So even though my whiskers trembled with fear, I took a deep breath, crossed my whiskers for luck, and exclaimed, "Leave it to me, Lady Wonderwhiskers." Then I jumped with an amazing leap towards the fire escape, and I tripped and tumbled off the edge of the roof. Luckily, my cape got caught on the metal railing. I was swinging in the air like a super klutz. Help! Oh, I am not cut out to be a Heromice. Dangling high in the air from the roof of the Grand Hotel, headlines splashed before my eyes. "Super Rodent meets Super Rend, Super Splat, Super Fall for Super Fool." "Hang on, Super Stilton," I heard Lady Wonderwhiskers call. A second later, two strong paws grabbed me from behind and pulled me up to safety. Thank you, Lady Wonderwhiskers," I exclaimed, still trembling with fear. "You saved my fur." But when I turned, I realized no one was there. Lady Wonderwhiskers was still on the other side of the roof. "Wait, who saved me?" I gasped. "Me," responded the invisible thief. "You see, I'm really not a bad mouse." "But why are you stealing diamonds?" I demanded. "I told you, I'm not stealing them," the strange thief replied. "I'm borrowing them. I need them to fix something. Then I'll return them. Rodent's honor." I was still deciding what to do when suddenly I heard paw steps racing down the fire escape. Super sour cheddar chunks! The thief had escaped again. "What do you think we should do, Lady Wonderwhiskers?" I squeaked, turning to face her. "Cross the cat litter." Now she had disappeared too. The only thing I could do was return to the floor below, but in the ballroom the situation was out of control. Duchess Marilyn Muscovia was sitting on a bench wailing, "My diamond! My diamond! My diamond!" "Where have you been, Super Stilton? I can't solve this case by myself," Swiftpaws yelled when he spotted me. "We've got to find that diamond super fast." Before I could explain about the roof and the thief and the dangling in midair, Proton and Electron arrived. "Good news, Heromice," Electron exclaimed. She was clutching a strange contraption in her paws. "We might have found a way to expose the invisible thief. Let's meet back at Heromice headquarters," added Proton. Back at the base, Swiftpaws and I quickly washed our sticky super suits so we didn't smell like cheesy fondue and Swiss shakes. Then we dashed into the control room, where Proton and Electron had connected their strange contraption to the supercomputer. Electron pointed to the screen. "Check out Tess Techno's latest invention." "Heromice," she exclaimed. "It's an invisible camera," added Proton. The Heromice's official cook and scientist, Tess, arrived with a tray of spicy gorgonzola cream puffs. "Oh, it's nothing," she added modestly. "It's just a camera with a special sensor, a miracle lens, and an infrared mouse ray." I had no idea what that meant, Swiftpaws interrupted. "But these snacks look delicious, Tess." "Swiftpaws is right," I confirmed, drooling. "They look amazing." Within seconds, Swiftpaws and I were chomping away like starving lab rats. Chomp, chomp, chomp. "What that means is that the camera can photograph invisible images," Electron explained, shooting us a disapproving look. A minute later, a picture appeared on the screen. It was an invisible thief. "But that's Jack Griffmouse, one of the most famous inventors in Muskrat City," squeaked Tess. "That's odd. I haven't seen him in a while," commented Tess. "File number 723576. Jack Mouse, who, inventor and professor of applied cybernetics cybernetics at the invisible of Muskrat City, where he lives, in an old house in the outskirts of Muskrat City. Strength: he's super creative. Weakness: he's super messy. You haven't seen him because he's been invisible, Swiftpaws snickered as he stuffed another cheese pop into his mouth. I reached for another one myself. After all, I didn't want my hero partner eating alone. Something fishy here, continued Tess. Griffmouse is an honest rodent. I don't know why he would be stealing diamonds. Well, there's only one way to find out, concluded Swiftpaws. Let's go on a surveillance mission at his house. I tried not to choke. Go to the invisible thief's house? Oh, what a fright! Before I could stop him, Swiftpaws called Commissioner Ratford to explain our plan to visit the invisible thief. Great idea, Ratford said. Good luck, Heromice, and please watch your tails. Jack Griffmouse's house was on the other side of Muskrat City. The plan was to fly there, but I was having a little trouble lifting off. Well, okay, I was having a lot of trouble. So Swiftpaws shouted, Costume super flying scooter model! I hopped on aboard, and before long we landed in front of an old crumbling house that's surrounded by overgrown trees and bushes. My whiskers started to tremble with fear. What a scary place. Are you sure this is a good idea? I stammered. Shh. What are you trying to do? Get caught, hero partner? Why don't you just ring the doorbell? Swiftpaws snorted. He snuck up to the back porch, where we were in luck, into a spooky house at night. The back door was open, but just as we were about to enter, we heard a sound. Swish, swish, swish. Something was moving in the bushes behind us. This time he's not getting away, whispered Swiftpaws. Costume supernet model. Instantly, Swiftpaws' costumes transformed into an enormous butterfly net. He launched it into the bushes. Swish, bonk, thump. Super slices. I've got you, my super partner cried. Oof. Stop! Exclaimed an unmistakable female voice. Great balls of mozzarella! It was Lady Wonderwhiskers. Rats, said Swiftpaws. He seemed super disappointed. It wasn't the thief. Sorry about that, Lady Wonderwhiskers, but what are you doing here? Did you think I would let you do this alone? Asked the super rodent, her blue eyes twinkling. Lady Wonderwhiskers, she was so brilliant and beautiful, and Mouse could get lost staring into those sparkling blue eyes. Funny, they reminded me of another lady rodent I admired. I was still thinking about those eyes when Lady Wonderwhiskers held up a small gadget that emitted a blue flashing light. What's that? Swiftpaws asked. A position indicator, the super rodent explained. Tess Technopaws gave it to me. You attach it to the object you're trying to follow, and it transmits a signal to our communicator watches, she explained. This way we can find anyone, no matter where they go. Well, that's what we are waiting for, squeaked Swiftpaws. Let's go. Soon we were exploring Professor Griffmouse's house. There were rooms filled snout to tail with what looked like scientific books and math manuals, but we didn't see any diamonds. Rats, whined Swiftpaws. Then I checked the library. Just then I noticed a small green book tucked into one corner of the shelf. Curious, I picked it up. Slam! Suddenly the walls of the books began moving. Before I could squeak, everything went dark. And I mean super dark. I couldn't see my own paw in front of my whisker. Help! I shrieked. What happened? Looks like the library had a super secret, exclaimed Swiftpaws from the other side of the wall. Good job, Super Stilton, added Lady Wonderwhiskers. You found a secret passage. Now all you have to do is turn to the library around so we can come too. A chill ran down my fur. Turn the library? I croaked, but I don't know how. I tried not to sob uncontrollably. Okay, concentrate, hero partner, Swiftpaws said encouragingly. Do you remember what we did before you turned the wall? I blinked. Well, I picked up a little green book. And do you remember which book Lady Wonderwhiskers asked? Remember? I squeaked. How could I forget? I love books. I love biographies. I love mysteries. We get it, Stilton. You're book rat. Swiftpaws interrupted. Now what's the title? Before I could reply, slam! The shelves turned again. Let's go! Squeaked Lady Wonderwhiskers, pointing a flashlight down a dark alleyway. Heromice in action. We made our way down the dark corridor until we reached a large room filled with electronic equipment. Great galaxies! It's someone's secret laboratory! I gasped. At one end of the room, a giant glass cylinder was clicking and humming away.
Not somebody's laboratory, super partner. It's the invisible thief's, Swiftpaws announced. But how do you know? Use your supervision, Super Stilton, Swiftpaws said, pointing at the cylinder. I squinted. Then I rubbed my eyes, but I still didn't see anything. Don't you see that screwdriver floating in the air around the machine? Whispered Lady Wonderwhiskers. I'd bet our very own invisible thief is holding it. As we watched the screwdriver begin moving around a plate of diamonds, the star-studded gemstones sparkled in the center. My heart hammered. What is he doing? I stammered. Who knows? Replied Swiftpaws. There's only one way to find out. With a squeak, he sprang into the center of the room. Heromice in action, he yelled. The screwdriver fell to the ground again. Oh no, not you again, we heard Griffmouse exclaim. Then his paws skittered across the laboratory floor. Super Swiss Slice's invisible thief was escaping again. Hey, Griffmouse, stop, shouted Lady Wonderwhiskers. Tell us what's going on. Right, I added. Maybe we can help you. The invisible thief's steps stopped suddenly. Help me, he asked. Well, yes, you said you needed to fix something, I reminded him. The steps came closer. Yes, exactly, Griffmouse responded. I needed to repair my invention, the invisibility machine. I looked at the strange device at the back of the laboratory. So that's what Griffmouse used to transform himself into the invisible thief. One of the super lenses is broken, and I need to fix it right away, he continued. Swiftpaws scratched his head. But what do diamonds have to do with it, he asked. I nodded. I must admit, this super case was getting super confusing. I needed a lens similar to one that broke, said Griffmouse. That's why I needed the purest of diamonds. So I had to borrow them from the jewelry stores. But I promised I'll return them. I just need to use them one last time. We heard Griffmouse race back to his machine. Then we heard lots of clanging and banging. I want to return to normal, he continued. It's not fun being an invisible rodent. It's very lonely. No one says hi. No one smiles at me. No one wants to go to the dinner or play baseball or go to the movies. My friends and I didn't know what to say. Being an invisible rodent sounded awful. Just at the moment, vroom! What is that noise? I asked. Vroom! The sound grew louder and louder. Suddenly, a wall of the laboratory crumbled in the cloud of dust and rubble, and the sewer rat's sludge-mobile zoomed into the laboratory. A second later, the evil Tony Sludge's bodyguards, 1, 2, and 3, quickly came running through the door. Oh, whoops! I forgot to explain who the cruel, revolting, and always stinky Tony Sludge is. He's the leader of the truly terrible sewer rats. Crumbling cheese crackers! What were the sewer rats doing in Griffmouse's secret laboratory? The invisibility machine will be mine, Tony Sludge sneered, and the Muskrat City will be mine. Mine! Mine! Not so fast, Sewer Slime. Swiftpaws challenged him first. You'll have to get past the Heromice. Don't make me laugh, Tony scoffed. Oh, and speaking of laughter, say hello to someone who will really get your giggles going. Super fools. Tony's right-hand mouse, Slickfur, emerged from Sludge Mobile. He wore a gas mask and a strange tank connected to a tube on his back. Within minutes, a cloud of pink gas began seeping from the tank. You can't scare us with your colored gas, my hero partner began, but before he could continue, he dissolved into a fit of giggles. Hee 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 hee! Swiftpaws, get a hold of yourself, I began, until I started cracking up too. Ha 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 ha. Check it out, silly super piss, Slickfur announced. It's my latest, greatest invention. Side-splitting, pink, paralyzing giggle gas. Hee hee hee! Ha ha ha! Ho ho ho! Lovely Lady Wonderwhiskers laughed. Oh no, she had been struck by the giggle gas as well. My hero partners and I couldn't stop rolling on the ground. The incredible giggle gas was giving us full-blown laugh attacks. 1, 2, and 3 caught us without difficulty, tied us together, and hung us from the ceiling like a super cheese sausage. Then they grabbed an invisibility machine and secured it to the roof of the sludge-mobile. Goodbye, Super Pierce, Tony called us. He climbed into the sludge-mobile and disappeared down the sewer. The effects of the giggle gas eventually wore off, but we were still tied up. Moldy mozzarella muffins, Swiftpaws exclaimed. We must free ourselves. But how? I cried. I can't move. Then a ladder moved underneath us. A pair of scissors floated into the air. Don't move, Super Stilton. It was an invisible thief. I watched the sharp, pointy scissors come towards me and cringed. I'm too fond of my fur. A second later, I found myself lying on the ground. In the meantime, Griffmouse also freed my super colleagues. But where did you go? Griffmouse? Lady Wonderwhiskers asked him. I was here the whole time, the professor explained. I just didn't make a sound. Being invisible has more than a few advantages. Yes, if you were invisible, you could do all kinds of things, super good things and super bad things. How did the sewer rats know about the invisibility machine? I asked Griffmouse. Griffmouse let a long, deep sigh out. It's time to tell you everything from the beginning, he confessed. After years of failed attempts, last week, I finally got my invention to work, the professor explained. I was thrilled, the professor explained, but then I found out that the sewer rats had been spying on me. Tony and Slickfur showed up to my house. They wanted to steal my invention. To escape from the sewer rats, I was forced to use the array of invincibility on myself. Unfortunately, the sewer rats tried to block the machine and one of the lenses broke it. Now I understand, I said. The sewer rats escaped. They couldn't catch me and the machine was out of service. So that's how you became the invisible thief, exclaimed Lady Wonderwhiskers. Yes, Griffmouse continued sadly. I tried everything I could think of to replace the broken lens and repair my invention. I knew it was wrong to steal the diamonds. I didn't know what else to do. I have to admit, I feel bad for Griffmouse being invisible, but sometimes it might be fun at first, but I wouldn't want to be invisible forever. I'm too fond of my fur. It's okay, I told the professor, but when I tried to pat his shoulder reassuringly, I accidentally smacked him on the snout. Sorry about what? I apologized, but don't worry, we'll help you. And so, with Swiftpaws and Lady Wonderwhiskers by my side, we shouted, Heromice to the rescue! We took off into the tunnel carved by the sludge-mobile. Bleach! What a stench! I said, plugging my nose. We are in the sewers of Muskrat City, exclaimed Swiftpaws. What did you expect it to smell like, hero partner? Cheddar, dreams, spritz and spray? Good one, chuckled a voice behind me. I whirled around, but no one was there. What some cheese rims! Was the stench making me lose my mind, or was there a ghost in our tails? Don't hurt us, I stammered. We come in peace. Don't be a super fool, Super Stilton. It's Griffmouse. Are you sure you want to come along, Professor? Asked Lady Wonderwhiskers. It could be dangerous. Don't worry, he squeaked with a laugh. You won't even know I'm here. Suddenly, Lady Wonderwhiskers' brisk communicator began pulsating. The amazing super rodent had managed to attach the position signaler to the sludge-mobile. Now all we had to do was follow the signal. Lady Wonderwhiskers. As we ran, I glanced at the super rodent's bright, sparkling eyes. She was so smart and beautiful and strangely familiar. I was still thinking about the Lady Wonderwhiskers with her when her wrist communicator began flashing at an alarming rate. Beep, 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 beep. When I looked up, Tony, his henchman, and the sludge-mobile were assembled in the tunnel in front of us. Oh no, they're going to turn on the invisibility machine, whispered Griffmouse. As we crept closer, we heard Slickfur say, Duh, but boss, why are we testing out the machine here? I thought we were bringing it back with us. Duh, I thought the same thing, agreed one. Me too, agreed two. Me too, muttered three. I mean, me three. Whatever they said, Tony looked like he was ready to explode. He began to scream, waving his paws in the air like a crazy rat. First of all, you shouldn't think. I'm the brains of this operation, and I do the thinking around here. Got it? I'm the boss, the big cheese, the head rodent, Tony shrieked. Anyway, I have a very good reason for testing the machine here. Her name is Mrs. Sludge. That's right. If my wife Teresa sees those diamonds, she'll rip the machine apart in a flash to get her paws on the star-studded gem, so. Yup, Teresa sure loves her jewelry. While Tony tumbled on and on, we crept closer and closer to the sewer rats. Finally, Lady Wonderwhiskers burst from the shadows. Give up, sewer slime, she yelled. The sewer rat's jaws dropped open in a shock as the athletic super rodent of heart leaped forward. What a mouse. Tony looked even angrier than before. Now I'm really getting annoyed by you, Heromice, he squeaked in disgust. Sewer rats, give these super goons the lesson they deserve. A second later, one hurled himself at Swiftpaws, but the Heromice was one poor step ahead of him. Costume bowling ball mode! He yelled. Instantly, Swiftpaws transformed into a giant yellow bowling ball. Then he rolled right into one and two, boing, and sent them flying. Meanwhile, three had attacked Lady Wonderwhiskers. Unfortunately for him, he hadn't considered her incredible martial arts skills. Boink! Slap! Smack! Pow! Pop! Cosmic cheddar chunks. Is there nothing the super rodent of my dreams cannot do? And so, in a matter of minutes, all three of Tony's bodyguards were laid out on the ground like pins in bowling alley. Strike! Wow, don't just lie there, the boss yelled. Get up, rats! Capture those super pains! Do it now! Suddenly, I looked up to find Tony Sludge towering over me. Ooh. We looked like he wanted to break every bone in my body. But before I could turn tail and run, I told you I'm not cut out to be a Heromice. An invisible paw grabbed me. I've got a great idea, Super Stilton, Griffmouse whispered in my ear. While your hero partners distract the sewer rats, we'll turn on the invisibility machine. I'll make myself visible again and grab the diamonds. Then I'll destroy my invention once and for all. Great Gouda! Griffmouse's plan might actually work. So while my friends tried to keep the sewer rats busy, Griffmouse and I quietly scampered up to the invisibility machine. Griffmouse jumped in and bzzz. Blue lights flashed and slowly a rodent figure appeared inside the machine. He had short dark hair and wore a white lab coat. I did it! Cheered Griffmouse as a wide grin appeared on his snout. But before we could celebrate our success, Tony spotted us. Stop them, he ordered. One dashed towards me, so I took a super leap. Unfortunately, when I hit the ground, I tripped over my cape and bounced like a super ball, coming to a top spin when I hit my head. Who am I? Where am I? What happened? As I brushed myself off, I heard my super partner squeaking at me. Get out of here, Super Stilton, yelled Griffmouse. Move it, shrieked Swiftpaws. Run, cried Lady Wonderwhiskers. Huh? What are they talking about? Bzzz. Flying furballs. By the time I realized I was inside the invisibility machine, it was too late. A flashing light hit me. I looked at my paws. They had become transparent. I looked at my tail. It wasn't there anymore. I looked at my tips, my whiskers, and watched as they disappeared. Great galaxies, I had become an invisible Heromouse. Boss, look at that! Slickfur said gleefully. The machine works perfectly. In the meantime, Tony Evil's assistant was putting on the gas mask and pointing the tube of side-splitting pink paralyzing giggle gas at Griffmouse and the other Heromice. Ham and holy cheese, we were in trouble again. Put the invisibility machine on the sludge-mobile, Tony instructed his henchmen. As 1, 2, and 3 lifted the machine, Slickfur turned to my hero partners. Prepare yourself, super fools, he squeaked. You're about to be paralyzed with laughter. The evil rodent sniggers. I cracked myself up. Slickfur was still chuckling to himself when Swiftpaws whispered, It's up to you, Super Stilton, I froze. How could I save the day? I had to think of something. Everyone was counting on me. Geronimo Stilton, no scratch that. They were counting on me. Geronimo Super Stilton. Suddenly, I had an idea. I crept up to Slickfur without making a sound. As Griffmouse said, being invisible had its advantages. Then, right before the slimy sewer rat turned on the giggle gas, I had an idea. Swiftpaws, activate fan mode! I yelled to my hero partner as Slickfur sprayed the giggle gas at Swiftpaws. My hero partner transformed into an extra large fan. With a huge blast of air, the gas shot back at Slickfur. At the same time, I leaped at Slickfur, yanking off his mask. So in a matter of seconds, the evil sewer rat got blasted with a super splitting pink paralyzing giggle gas and began rolling on the ground and laughing like a crazed fan at the Bent Whiskers comedy cellar. Good work, Super Stilton, Swiftpaws congratulated me. Before we could celebrate, 1, 2, and 3 finished tying the invisibility machine onto the roof of the sludge-mobile. They picked up the giggling Slickfur and shoved him into the front of the car. Sewer rats escaping, yelled Lady Wonderwhiskers. Tony climbed behind the wheel of the sludge-mobile and began revving the motor. Vroom! Vroom! So long, Super Saps, Tony snorted with an evil sneer. Thanks for testing out the invisibility machine for us. Oh no, this couldn't be happening. Big bouncing cheese balls, we've got to stop them, I yelled at the top of my lungs, and suddenly a hailstorm of cheese balls began to rain down. Boing, 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 boing. The balls hit the sludge-mobile and began bouncing all over the place. My superpowers had saved the day. The car went into a skid and crashed. That was incredible, Super Stilton. You're awesome, squeaked Lady Wonderwhiskers admiringly. It was nothing, I said, turning as red as a tomato. Luckily, I was still invisible, so the rodent of my dreams couldn't tell. Unluckily, in the crash, the invisibility machine had flipped off the sludge-mobile and smashed onto the ground. Putrid provolone, I sobbed. The invisibility machine is ruined. Now I'll be invisible forever. Griffmouse checked out the machine. Don't worry, he assured me. I can fix it. I just need to get it back to my lab. That's the good news, Swiftpaw said. Now for the bad news. The sewer rats are gone. He pointed to the smashed up sludman wheel with the doors hanging wide open. There wasn't a sewer rat in sight. They escaped again, cried Lady Wonderwhiskers. Well, at least we got the invisibility machine back, right? I said. My super partners agreed finding the machine was super important. But there was still one problem. The machine was so heavy. How were we able to transport it back to the lab? I've got it, exclaimed Swiftpaws. Costume, tractor mode. Within 6 seconds, Swiftpaws transformed himself into a large yellow tractor, reloaded up and took off. When we got back to the lab, the professor began working on the invisibility machine. I held my breath. Would he be able to fix it? I mean, my super suit was pretty goofy looking, but I still seemed seeing myself in it. In the end, the professor got everything up and running. I stepped in under my blue light, and bzzz, I was visible again. The Griff Mouse unscrewed the lens of diamonds and gave them to Lady Wonderwhiskers to hold for safekeeping. Now the only thing left to do was to destroy the machine. I can't fall into the wrong paws again, said Griff Mouse. Swiftpaws handed me a mallet. Destroy the machine, he instructed. Me? But why me? I muttered. I can't do... Of course you can do it, Superstition, interrupted Lady Wonderwhiskers. You're a Heromouse. I gulped, clutching the heavy mallet. Fuming fondue fountain, I squeaked. I'm not cut out to be a Heromouse. Right then, my awesome cheesy superpowers activated and splash. A fountain of melted cheese hit the invisibility machine, causing it to short circuit. After a lot of sparks and sputters, it died. Now it's time to turn myself in, said Griff Mouse. When we arrived at the police station, we filled in Commissioner Ratford. We told him how the professor had helped to foil the sewer rat's evil plans, and how he insisted on destroying the invisibility machine. The commissioner replied, this case is a little unusual. First, we must give those diamonds back. Then I'll figure out what to do about Professor Griffmouse. So, accompanied by 2 agents, the ex-invisible thief returned to jewelry stores where he had stolen the diamonds and gave everything back. In the end, the commissioner ordered the professor to pay a big fine. He also had to return the star-studded gemstone to Duchess Moscovia. Please accept my deepest apologies, Duchess, Griffmouse said with a bow. I'm so sorry I had to steal from such a charming and beautiful rodent. Oh, Professor, beamed the Duchess, how could I not forgive such a fascinating gentle mouse like you? Great balls of feta! Griffmouse had been a hit with Duchess Moscovia. As for me, it was time to return home. So I said goodbye to my friends, and after a few tries, I flew off towards New Mouse City. I was headed for the park I had departed from, but instead of landing behind the Cheesy Freeze ice cream stand, I crashed into the middle of a thorny blackberry bush. The thorns stuck in my fur, and now that I was no longer in my super costume, the blackberries had left ugly blue stains all over my favorite suit. Cheese niblets. I was a walking fashion disaster. I slunk home, keeping my head down, but I had still heard rodents giggling as I passed by. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be invisible. But then I remembered all the trouble being invisible. Maybe that was one superpower that the Heromice could do without. Anyway, I didn't need to be invisible to be a Heromouse. If there was one thing I had learned, it was this. Nothing is impossible for the Heromice. See you on my next adventure.